Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Blonde Intelligence with me, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, we have a very special guest. We have Mr. Rob Wells. Say hello to everyone.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you. Happy to be here. Happy to be doing this.
I'm glad that you came. I'm happy, really happy that you came. I would like to start out with letting you tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. I'm a songwriter and producer. I live in Canada, just outside of Toronto, and I've worked with a lot of major label artists, a lot of independent artists. I've worked on TV shows, music for TV, for film, for video games, um, and a whole bunch of different things like that. Just if you need music, just come to me and let's make some music. That's
It's a new giveaway. The Blind Intelligence Wine Tray Set and the Chris Nielsen Our Voyage Home CD giveaway. To enter, comment on Chris's interview on any Blind Intelligence platform and you will be entered. Drawing is April 30th, 2021, posted on the Blind Intelligence Facebook page.
that's my life.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with asking you a question. I want to know, why is your advice to start with the chorus?
Wow, that's a great question. I, I always say start with the chorus just because can you imagine getting into a car with somebody else and just looking at them and saying, where do you want to go? And they're like, I don't know, where do you want to go? And then you just start driving without even discussing it any further. You're going to go like over here, you're going to go over there, you're not going to know where you want to go, right? I always think that if you have a limited time in which to work with someone and to develop something, it's the exact same thing as a truck driver carrying goods and they know that they're starting from this point A and they know they have to get to point B by a certain amount of time, or else they're going to get fired. So for me, it's the same thing where it's just like I know I have a few hours to work with someone. I have to get from point A to point B. I have to know what my destination is in order to make that happen in as short of a time as possible. So we start by talking, we start by discussing what it is that we want to write about, what the emotion is, what the communication is, and within that discussion, we usually find the title. And then from the title, we then develop the chorus. And then voila, there we go. We got our destination and we know everything about this emotion and communication that we want to give. Then once we have the chorus and we have something that we really, really love that we can sing 1,000 times and nobody's getting sick of it, we then work backwards and we tell the backstory of what led us to the chorus and making sure that each line that we write points towards that chorus. Rather than getting in at the beginning of the song and turning to each other and saying, where do you want to go? I don't know, where do you want to go? And that we would just be like going like this all over the place and then maybe even never ending upon our chorus. We just want to know that great destination. It just makes for a really, really quick session. You can write a song within 2 hours using that formula. And the exact same thing, not just with writing, but because I'm a music producer as well, I start by producing the chorus first. So I produce the chorus as big and as beautiful as possible, using as little instrumentation as possible, and
I
then
heard
working backwards from that. You heard that.
I heard you say that on I think it was one of your real. No, it wasn't the reels. It was one of the um, I guess informational things that you was given on YouTube, and that's what you were saying, that you take away from the chorus, and the every other part of the song leads back to the chorus.
Yep, totally. The chorus is king, or queen. Chorus is everything. Chorus is really what everybody takes home, and they remember that. They don't necessarily remember all the verse material, but they will remember the chorus. So just make that your most important thing. And don't overproduce, don't overwrite for it. Just make it exactly what it needs to be.
Okay. So tell me this: what great things, being in the music industry, have you seen come out of this COVID?
Man, you got great questions. I love it. Um, Here's one great thing that's come out of COVID. Before COVID, everyone was really scared about doing what we're doing right now. Communicating electronically like this and being able to connect with people and being able to collaborate with people. And I've seen people just really embrace this technology. I think it's great for the environment personally. The fact that I don't have to hop in an airplane and fly over to England or go to Miami or go to LA to write with somebody anymore. I can literally do everything from here. I can record vocals from here, just because everybody's really embraced the whole technological side of things. Don't get me wrong, I miss people to be in here in the room with me. I miss hugs like crazy. I miss shaking somebody's hand. I miss recording a vocal where they're right beside me and I can give them direction. But the technology has really improved in such a way that I can do it all from here, and there's no need to face traffic. There's no need to hop in an airplane. We're all just that much more connected in such a great way, and I love it.
Okay. Well, since you mentioned technology, I have heard many producers give pros and cons of technology in the music industry. How has technology made your job harder?
Wow, I love all these questions. These are great. Like most of the questions that I get are like, tell me about Justin Bieber. It's like, so this is great, man. We're like really getting into it.
I'm interviewing you.
I love it. No, this is great. Um, okay, so how has technology made my life harder? In many ways, it's made it easier. However, I will always tell people to not focus on the technology when you're writing a song. Don't go to the technology at all until the song is written. And sometimes the technology can stand in the way of writing a great song if you're spending all your time trying to find like the best kick drum sample or the best snare sample or the right tone for your guitar. Because honestly, none of that stuff matters. All that matters is writing the song, and you almost need to push the technology way out of the way. Once you have the song, once you're reduced to tears and you're listening to it in what we call the campfire test, where it's just like piano and vocal or guitar and vocal or drum and spoken word or whatever it is, if you're reduced to tears listening to it that way, then you can throw any production that you want over top of that and it's still going to work. And that's the moment that you bring in the technology.
Okay. So this is a question that I asked Roth when I interviewed him. So I'm going to ask you, how many instruments do you think that a composition is supposed to have?
Well, it really depends on the song. It really
Mhm.
depends on the way that it's supposed to feel.
Okay.
I've heard some beautiful songs where it is just guitar and vocal, and it really, really works. And maybe there's a cello that comes in at some point. I've heard some other songs where it's just drum and rap, and that's it, and it really works. And then I've heard some songs where it's like it's crazy produced, where there's so many things that are on there. Um, I really try to not overproduce stuff. As I say, like I really try to do the biggest bang for the buck using as little instrumentation and production as possible, if you can. Just really try to declutter, as much as you can. Um, but then I've heard other things that sound incredible when it's just like it's so many things that are going on. So it really is just on a song by song basis for me.
Okay.
I will say this though, if you're handing in songs to record labels, that if you have the intention of having a song fully produced, but you hand in them something that's just a guitar and vocal demo,
What does every artist need? Press, 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 and more press. Music reviews, interviews, blog articles, press releases, the Blind Intelligence video show, the Blind Intelligence podcast, the Blind Intelligence blog, Blind Intelligence music reviews. Available on Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple, YouTube, and more. Social media blasts, build your EPK, expand your fan base, links to your press. For more information, visit blonde-intelligence.com.
they will not have the time to imagine it being in its fully produced state. They'll just hear it and they'll think, well, that's a nice guitar vocal song, even though you planned on it having full drums, full synth, full orchestration, whatever. You really have to sort of spell it out for them and produce it just the way you imagine hearing it on the radio before you hand it into a record label.
Okay. So now we're going to move into this. How hard or easy professionally is social media for you?
Well, social media is definitely a challenge. Um, there's this interesting thing as you get older, you know. I'm 48 right now, and you have to keep reinventing yourself
Okay.
as time goes on because it's this weird thing where it's just as you get older that, you know, the music industry and music production and music writing, it's really viewed almost as a young person's game. Even though I love all the new stuff that's going on out there, you know, you have to sort of like reinvent yourself. You have to always just say like, I'm in with the times and I can do exactly what the times are presenting right now. And the whole social media thing, I've had to embrace, and I actually really love it. I love the fact that you and I met through social media. You know, we met through Clubhouse, which is absolutely fantastic. What a great social media app. It's one of the best inventions that I've ever seen. I'm meeting people from all around the world that I never would have met if it weren't for social media. And I'm getting plugged into all sorts of opportunities through social media. So to sit back and just, you know, not dive into social media to dig in your heels and just say, I'm just going to keep doing the way that I was doing things before, that's death, right? You got to keep evolving. You got to keep.
Can you say that again?
Well, I was just saying that if you dig in your heels,
It was important. Please say it again.
yeah, if you dig in your heels, that's death. If you just say I'm good with just the way that it is, you can't. You have to keep adapting. You have to keep adjusting with the times. You know, I remember my grandparents. I loved my grandparents like crazy, but they definitely dug in their heels at a certain point in their life, and they were like, "That's enough. I've known enough now about the world, and I don't want to know anymore, and I don't want to take in the new technologies that are coming down the road." You know, and then I look at my mother, who's like totally adjusted and has embraced technology and is now the queen of the iPad. You know, and she's able to do so much at the age of 77 on her iPad, and she's rocking it. My father-in-law is 91, and he rocks the iPad. You know, it's just like, but if you like, that's thank God for that, because during COVID, he's been able to connect with all of his kids, all of his grandkids, great grandkids, everything. And if he had dug his heels in and said, "No, I'm not. I've learned enough," then he wouldn't have been able to roll with the times. You know. And I think it's really important to do that, to always be listening to new music, to listening to what's around the corner, to be listening to music from around the world, not just now, but what came before, all that stuff, and embracing new technologies that are coming down as well. And just, if social media is part of it, then jump on board. Some social media I get, some social media I don't get. I still don't understand Snapchat to save my life. I don't know what the purpose of that thing is, but man, I love me some Instagram and some Clubhouse.
Whew. Okay. I still don't know what that is. Okay. I'm going to ask you the next question because, like I told you earlier, I listened to your reels and I said that you were spunky and that I believe that you can dance, and you said you dance with your fingers. So I want you to explain dancing with your fingers and where did your musical background come from?
Wow, great question. Okay, well, I grew up in a really musical household. So I have an older brother who's also a record producer and a songwriter. But we grew up in small town Ontario, Canada, where there was not much to do other than play hockey. And we weren't very sporty types. So I grew up in a musical family, and my brother was playing. My mom played piano. My grandparents played. My dad was a United Church minister here in Canada, so there was a lot of music in the church. And wow, I listened to a lot of stuff, but what really blew me away, the very first and foremost thing that blew me away, my mom brought me home a cassette tape from the local library, and it was the greatest hits of Motown. And when I heard that, I swear to you, angels appeared in front of me. And
That's
I
where the
could,
spunkiness come from?
pardon me?
Is that where the spunkiness come from?
I guess so, because the very first song that I heard, I don't know if you know the song or not, but it was called Stagger Lee by Lloyd Price. And I'd grown up in such a safe musical world, and then all of a sudden I put in the greatest hits of Motown, and the very first song that I heard was this amazing song that was like huge horns and big band, and the storyline was that it was a gambling game that went horribly wrong. Somebody got really upset, went home, grabbed their pistol, came back to the club and shot somebody else to death. And I remember hearing this at the age of like 10 and just thinking, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. Just incredible music, incredible writing, and just hook after hook after hook, and amazing performances. And the songwriting was so good. And then it would go on to like the Jackson 5 and then Diana Ross and the Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye and everything else. And I just became fully immersed in this. And nobody else was listening to this around me. Everybody else was listening to rock music. And I just thought, this is it. This is exactly what it needs to be. And I still, to this day, take the lessons of Motown with me. I look at building my productions a lot like Motown, where it's just like arrangement is everything. It's great string arranging is great. And the writing has to really reach in and rip your heart out. And all these different moving parts in production that don't step on the toes of the vocal. These are all great things that I learned from the players of Motown and from the performers of Motown and from the writers of Motown. And that's really where I got started. And then my first real record that I bought was Lionel Richie, All Night Long. And then Michael Jackson's Thriller came out, and that was just...
Hi, this is Marlette with Classic Glam by Marlette, where classic never goes out of style. We're based here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, but you can reach us on our website at classicglamgirl.com or Facebook and Instagram at Classic Glam by Marlette.
Game over. And then in 1989, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation, and that blew me away so much. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are still my biggest heroes. I got a chance to meet them. I got a chance to work at their studio. Such sweet guys and humble, so talented. Yeah, just amazing. Anyways, I take all this stuff with me, and it's a part of what I do still to this day.
So is that explaining the dancing with your fingers part?
Absolutely. That the soul just resides within the fingers. That's it.
I get you.
Believe me, I've tried to dance so many times. It's painful. I don't know what it is. I just don't. What's that?
I like to dance.
Yeah, dancing is great. We all should be able to dance. I wish. I come from a long line of non-dancers. I think that's what it is.
Do you sing?
I enough that I can get my ideas across. I used to sing
because many people who play instruments, and I haven't even asked you what instruments you play yet, but many people who play instruments, to me, can sing, oh no, I need it like this, or it needs to be in this note right here, and they can do it, and it's like it don't even matter because they're more focused on the music. So I was just wondering, do you consider your voice an instrument? Do you sing?
Well, I have been singing my whole life. Do I have a great voice? No. I can sing to a point where I can get my ideas across. Even Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, when you hear them sing, they've written some of the best songs in the world. When you hear them sing, it's hilarious. They're so shy about it, and they're just like, they're not great singers, but they get their ideas across. And what I love is when I'm working with a great vocalist, when I can, sing to them, and they laugh a little bit at the beginning, when I'm singing it to them, just because I'm not as trained as they are. But when I present to them what I'm looking for them to do, I love it when they take it and they give it back to me 1,000 times better. Like that's just so much fun for me, where I can be like, what about this? What about if it was like this and you sing this melody? And they're like, oh, you mean like this? And it's just like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That's
Neo.
amazing. Yeah, seriously. I've worked with some great vocalists in my time, man. It's been a real joy. I've been really blessed to work with amazing vocalists.
Okay. Well, my next question is, in your opinion, weigh attitude versus talent.
What do I think is more important, attitude or talent?
However you want to imagine it. You can imagine it in a situation. You can imagine it in a personal meeting with you. But yeah.
Well, okay, if we're going to talk about attitude, then I would say good attitude is really important. The best attitude. Waking up every day and realizing that each day is a gift. realizing that there's a lot of people that could be wishing that they could be doing this, and never taking anything for granted. You know, just I believe in three things. I believe in having the best personality as number one, loving everybody that you meet, treating everybody like your brother and sister. Um, Number two is developing your talent, and that never ends. That you continually do that until the day you die. And then number three is your sense of drive, your networking, getting out there and saying to the world, I'm still here. You need those three things in which to work. It's like a tripod for a camera, right? You need those three legs in which to stand up strong and to support that camera. You are the camera, and you need great personality, a huge amount of talent, a huge amount of drive, and just keep working on all three of those things. Never sit back and say, I've done enough. Say, how can I be better today? How can I treat my fellow human being in a better way today? How can I help somebody? How can I get better at what it is that I do? Who can teach me different things? You know, like, I'm also a big believer that everybody around you knows something that you don't know. Right. And if you sit back and you're open and receptive to it, everyone can become your teacher. There's always stuff to learn. And just getting out there and just making friends with people, getting to know people all around the world, and just letting them know that you're there and you can help them with one thing or another. That's the secret to having a great career, a great life, making lifelong friends, you know, all of that. Bad attitude will get you nowhere. And, you know, imagine if you're missing any one of those three things. You could be so talented and so driven, but you've got the worst personality. Nobody's going to want to sit there and work with you. You could have the greatest personality, the greatest talent, but if you're not out there networking, you're not going to get anywhere. I heard a great saying that said, not networking equals not working.
Right.
Right. It's so true. So networking is really, really important. You just need those three things. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you one more question. I know you're busy. What in your perfect world would be involved in music education on the elementary level?
I'm such a believer in education, and it hurts me so much that music is quite often the first thing that's cut from the educational system when budgets are cut. You know, there's so many other things that stay, but music is always taken away. I really wish that every child could have access to some form of music education, because let's be honest, I really believe we are all born with the same abilities. It's just, what are you exposed to in your life? And that's what sort of dictates what you're going to be interested in. I think there are some cases where some people receive no musical education and they eventually find it on their own. But I think that we're all musical. If you think about it, everything around us is musical. The seasons, day, night, that's a musical thing. It's got timing, it's got rhythm, right? The nature is filled with music. Even us just breathing, even us just walking, just even speaking is a musical thing. It's got pitch, it's got timing, it's got, you know, all these things. So the more that you can.
Watching a interview that Lionel Richie done, and he was saying that any person that has music in their blood, if a person is clapping their hands, they can feel the rhythm.
Oh yeah. But I really believe that we're all musical. We're all from the same planet. We've all been given the same abilities. It's just, what are you exposed to? So I wish that all children could be exposed to the power of music. And it does so much for you. You know, it's not just for the sake of getting up on stage and singing a song. It teaches you so many things. It teaches you patience. It teaches you working together as a team. It teaches you such beautiful harmony that you can then apply to so many different areas of your life, that you can make your whole life.
Advertise with Blonde Intelligence, where our listeners experience exquisite cranial repertoire. Blonde Intelligence is a new podcast and video channel featuring entertainment, musical artists, producers, entrepreneurs, as well as discussions on social topics. making the Blonde Intelligence platform suitable for a wide variety of product ad types. Video, Instagram TV, YouTube, and links shared to all Blonde Intelligence social media pages and select group networking platforms. This creates a collective base of over 50,000 potential sets of eyes on your product or service. Each sponsored ad will feature on both the podcast and video platforms. Sponsors have the choice of either a voice ad or audio-video ad, with 3 options for placements. Create a win-win business partnership by advertising with Blonde Intelligence.
Life harmonious, and just like it's such a gift, I think, to give to everybody. And if I could
So you
wave a
believe
magic,
therapy.
pardon me.
You believe in music therapy.
Oh yeah, I believe in that music can change your life completely. You can be in the worst mood and then you can hear the best song, and it will change everything.
Or you can find a song to match your mood.
Yeah, yeah. One of the best things that I ever had happen to me was this person reached out and said, "Hey, I'm going through experimental cancer treatment in Mexico, and it's really tough. And at the beginning of every day, when I'm faced with what I have to go through, I play this song that you wrote, and it gives me the strength to get through what it is that I have to do." And I just thought, that's it right there. That's what we're here to do. Yeah, I got to pay the bills, and hopefully music will help do that. But if I can be told that my music helped somebody go through a difficult situation, then that's fantastic. That's the power of music, and may everybody experience that for sure.
Well, I know you're busy. I thank you for coming.
Oh,
So
that's it? We're done?
yeah, our time is almost up. We scheduled this time. Don't stay in there now.
Yeah. Give me one
working.
more. You got to have one more question in there. Come on. No?
Well, let you have the last word. So I want you to tell everybody about any of your latest projects that you're working on, your social media handles, how they can find you, any last words, any advice that you want to give.
I can be found at Rob W Music everywhere on Twitter, Instagram. That's my email as well on Gmail, Rob W Music. I never really brag about things that I'm working on. I just, I'm always just, I want to find stuff that I'm really excited about. Always, the artists that I work with, I want to be in awe about them. I want to think like I have no reason to be here. They're already amazing. Why would I ever be in a room with this person? And it's that level that I want to work at. Then I get in there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to take their 100% and I'm going to add another 100% on top of that. And that's where the real magic happens. That's where we can create some great music, So that's it. I just think, everybody should follow their dreams, do what you love. You're here for 100 years if you're lucky, and just do what you love as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
All right, y'all heard them. Don't forget that you can find the podcast on all podcasting platforms. You can also find the video portion on the YouTube channel, IGTV, and you can also catch the blog on www.blonde-intelligence.com. And I really, really, really thank you for coming.
I thank you, man. This is one of the best interviews I've ever done in my life. I swear. Like, you've got great questions and
that is a compliment.
You're great. You are fantastic at what you're doing, and I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Okay, bye everybody.
It's a new giveaway. The Blonde Intelligence Wine Tray Set and the Chris Nielsen Our Voyage Home CD giveaway. To enter, comment on Chris's interview on any Blonde Intelligence platform and you will be entered. Drawing is April 30th, 2021, posted on the Blonde Intelligence Facebook page.